Well, now we're joined by director, not just head coach, director. I got to see how we got that title, but director of track and field and cross country, Quincy Watts. Coach, they wasted no time naming you the head man last summer. How was year one been for you so far?
Year one's been great. It's been great. Being here 8 years as an assistant, I kind of know the lay of the land. I know all the different relationships. So actually having the opportunity to sit in this seat, I was able to reach back to all the support that I've had over the years. So it's been a great adjustment. Thanks for asking.
Coach, obviously, congratulations on an accomplishment being the head guy here. What's this year's squad going to look like? How does it come about? What do you think this team is going to be about this year?
Well, Sean, we're in a phase right now on the men and the women's side. Obviously, the women, they were national champions in 2018. We won last year as well. So where I see our growth is we're not necessarily rebuilding. Yep. We're just putting some new bullets in there, right? So not rebuilding, but reloading.
Yes,
it's a better way to say it, Sean. But and I'm excited for that. We lost some leadership, so that's going to affect us. But we're going to wait. We're going to wait and see who arises on the young men and the women's side who wants to take that leadership role, because the example of our leaders in track and field is very important, and obviously in all team sports. Yep. But in track and field, our leaders carry the load, and that's what helps us to compete at a high level.
As you mentioned, 8 seasons here before taking your director role. What was the biggest lesson you learned in those seasons?
I got some great advice from a coach once. He said, as an assistant coach, your job is to make the head coach look great. Mm. So in those 8 years, whatever Coach Carroll asked of me to do, I tried to do it to my best. I tried to make her look great. I tried to do all the dirty work, and I tried to learn everything. And I took that in my hiring process. So every assistant coach that I have on my staff, their job is to make me look great.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you paid your dues.
So that's what I took in terms of from the assistant coach. But I've always enjoyed coaching. I've always enjoyed helping young people. So it was a natural fit for me. Looking to be the head coach was not necessarily something that I was seeking. But again, I learned how to be a great listener as a assistant coach to all your athletes, and they're all different. Mm. And if you want to bring the best out of them, you got to know what makes each one of them tick. And in doing that, there's a sense of trust that I had to learn, and I realized, because once you gain trust, there's some authenticity there. And then once you gain that, they can be very successful, because it's all about them being successful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, you've coached countless Olympians or many Olympians during your time at USC. And from my perspective, you're like, oh, of course, right? They come run track at SC, and that's just part of the journey, is going to the Olympics. But I'm sure there's unique challenges as the coach juggling both the Olympic, I'll call them expectations, and the team goals here and now at USC. How do you juggle that as a coach with, like you said, all the different personalities you have?
Great question, Max. Well, I think here at USC, we want to, our number one thing is we recruit the USC athlete who wants to compete at a high level. There's a certain standard here at USC. There's a certain standard in terms of championships, and we want that quality athlete to be a part of this program. How do we do that? How do we keep them engaged? We listen to them, and what are the things that you're trying to do in the recruiting process? So if you want to be an NCAA champion, or if you want to be a gold medalist, or just an Olympian, so in a world champion, we talk about all these particular things. And once you get here, I hold you to your words. I hold you to your standard. And that's how, Max, we try to keep them excited year in and year out. And obviously there's things that will come into play that will kind of become obstacles, hindrances, and things and those particular things as coaches. I think that's what we're here to help them get over those humps, get over those things. There are injuries. In sport, there's always injuries. Yep. It's just a part of sports. So our job is to make sure that we can still manage the expectation here, manage their goals, and at the same time just be there for them. And I think when they trust you as a coach and you have that insight, you have those conversations in the locker room with your coach, those conversations behind closed doors in the office and things of that nature, that allows you to continue to have that trust and that chemistry together to build into a NCAA champion, Olympian, or whatever that may be for that particular athlete.
Coach, you hit about it on staff a little bit and creating that environment where, everyone's trying to get after the same goal. How do you manage your time when there's so many events that you have to deal with? You obviously lean on that staff, but how do you manage your time interacting with each, say event and how you give your time to those players?
No, that's another great question, Sean. Trusting your staff. At the end of the day, you have to trust your staff and the relationship that your staff are creating with these student athletes. And we're not bringing in perfect students. We're not bringing in perfect athletes. So trusting that your staff can be those mentors. We're not their mothers, we're not their fathers, but we are mother figures. I'm a father figure. I have 2 daughters and a son. So I try to create that. We don't try to. USC, it is a family background. It is a family atmosphere. Yeah. So we just try to have those conversations as mother figures with the 2 women on my staff, Joanna, Coach Hayes and Coach Jetter. And then from a father figure standpoint, we try to be those kind of mentors for them. And it's tough, but as an assistant coach, it's great to create other relationships outside the particular event areas that you coach. Like some of the greatest relationships I have are with athletes that I don't coach. I am very we have the jump squad. Those are our high jumpers. Yeah. We got handshakes, and then we got a pop, right? And so, and you would think I actually coach that young man, and I don't. In the throws, I have a great relationship with the throws group. In a lifetime, I love to eat. Yeah. And in a lifetime, I probably was a thrower, right? As opposed to being a sprint coach. And so I think you create those likenesses, you create those similarities, and you just be simple, and you be a coach that cares. And on our particular staff, it's not about, we don't have any egos. Everyone on the staff are well accomplished. But what we do preach is everyone on the staff should know other athletes outside their particular area. So that's what keeps me and allows me to know these individuals not just as their head coach, but just to know them as persons and human beings.
That makes sense.
Well, Coach, appreciate the time. There's Quincy Watts, the USC Director of Track and Field and Cross Country as well. Next up, the track and field team will be competing in the Mount Sac Relays in Walnut, California, and the Beach Invitational in Long Beach as well, coming up next weekend. Coach, appreciate the time. Next up, we'll have a football roundtable.
Thanks, guys.